How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another solo stream. Sorry, a bit of jet lag. My sleeping's been mad all over the gaff, but we're here, 200 people waiting. Apologies for the delay. Hit the like button if you haven't hit it already. I think it was a couple of weeks ago I done my last solo stream, so the consistency's picking up, people. But Arsenal are making moves. And I see a comment here earlier. Let me just quickly find it. How could I not do a stream? Logic says, finally, the Arsenal Turkish was begging for a decade ago. And that's what it feels like. I can't even lie to you. That's what it feels like. This is what I've wanted. This is what Arsenal should have been doing a long time ago. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. First moving into the Emirates and having to juggle and balance the books and all that, I get it for a little while. But we should never be going into our potentially 20th Premier League season. Well, it's not potentially, we're going into it 19 years without a Premier League. And I'm not saying spending is the be all and end all. 100 million players will guarantee you success. No, we've seen that isn't the case. But at the end of the day, the market is the market, and overspending on players, it has been a necessity for the greatest teams over the last decade or two, not just in England, but in Europe as well. So, spending's a big part of it. Overspending has become a big part of it now as well, with the money that the Premier League teams get. English tax added onto the Declan Rice one, that's for sure. But this is what I've been waiting for. Big up everyone in the comments, because it's just shot up to like 600 people. So considering this is a late stream, we're in the UK, I'll save some of the comments on the side. Let me go up and see some earlier comments. Clement, big up, Big Turkish. Hope that you are refreshed after your New York trip with the fellas. Finally got Declan Rice over the line at 105 million. Just working on the structure of the deal. Should be announced. Yeah, I mean, it's popped up everywhere that West Ham have pretty much accepted it. It's just, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, I guess. And it'll be done. Just sure. Big up Turkish, my guy. Hope all is good, bro. I missed the last solo stream, but not this one. Come on, my guy. All is good. All is good. Eid Mubarak to everyone out there as well. And yeah, where am I? Sorry, the chat just went mad. I've got it back. This is the Arsenal I've been waiting for. The Arsenal that can flex. And listen, I said it on the transfer show that I did with Robbie earlier on AFTV. If Man City really wanted to, they could have spent a bit more and probably matched our bid. They tend to have a valuation on players, and they very, very rarely break that. I think probably only Grealish is the one they broke it for, and two seasons in, Champions League treble, and he did play a big part for that this season. So I guess they could justify that price tag, or Haaland's wages with their success this season. So it is what it is. And I'm not mentioning that to downplay what we've done, because we have flexed. Man City bid 90 mil. We could have bid 95. Do you think I'd be surprised if Arsenal bid 95 mil? If we offered just 5 mil more than Manchester City, would that have been a surprise, or would that have been the norm? Arsenal actually went back in and added 15 on top of the latest bid we made. I think the latest bid we made was 75 plus 15 with add-ons, and City's was 80 mil with 10 mil add-ons, both equating to 90 mil. We went and just banged that 105 on the table, or 100 plus 5. So we did flex. And it's about fucking time. And I hope it's the first of many flexes from Arsenal in the transfer windows, because you do need to do, as a big club, as a club that wants to be winning the major honours and wants to be competing year in, year out. You've got to take these risks, and you've got to flex, and that's what we're doing. Pick up everyone in the building. Let me go back to the comment section quickly. Black Diamond says, Turkish, don't forget to mod us on the Big Six channel. Yeah, you know what? I haven't even sorted out the mods on the Big Six channel. All I've done is modded the Big Six team. Aside from that, I need to sort that out. I'll sort that out soon enough anyway. Big up everyone that's tuned into the vlogs. I see, you know what? I got a bone to pick with a few people. I don't know if these few people are here, but patience, people. Patience. Obviously, the vlogs take time to edit, especially when you look at the quality of production in these vlogs. In my opinion, is top quality. The lads have done their thing. But I see a lot of people moaning in the comments, it should be longer. Why are we waiting 3 days? This and that. Listen, it is what it is. We've still got probably another 2-3 vlogs to come out. We've got a pool tournament to come out. There's still 3-4 New York vids to come out. One just come out about 2 hours ago. So if you haven't seen that, then head over to the Big Six channel after this and go check it out, because it is longer. We listened, but in order for it to be longer, it's going to take a bit more time. Just consider that there was non-stop recording from the moment we linked up at Heathrow to the moment we departed from JFK. Non-stop recording, hours of footage a day. And I'm not even exaggerating that. It was hours of footage a day. That's why it's taking a bit of time, because the production team care about the quality. And that's what I want my production team to care about, quality. So didn't invest that much into going to New York to just release just any old trash. So patience, people. More's coming out. One's just come out. Check them out. 2 vlogs have come out and 1 house tour, but the house tour is legendary. Matisse, Tobes. These men became legends on day one. It's a story that I'll never forget. I'm not here to tell it either. Go to the Big Six channel and check that out, because it was legendary for sure. Big up the whole Big Six team, man. Big up the whole Big Six team. Grizz out there as well. NYPD jumper in Harlem. Literally, we're walking through, essentially, one of the hoods. It wasn't the worst, and it definitely wasn't the best. And he's just got an NYPD jumper on, just walking around. And I'm here thinking, bro, this is all mad. Like Matisse was saying, hangover when we was leaving Heathrow, and some moments on that New York trip, it reminded me of our very own hangover. But yeah, check it out, people. Big Six channel. Big Six channel. AB says, how are you not boiling? What, now or in New York? It's not even that hot. Today was cool. But if you mean in New York weather was up and down as well. It was raining a few days. Yeah, NYPD. It's mad. But big up all of them, man. Big up Hugh, Saeed, Grizz, Matisse, Tobes, Scarfuggery, Matt, Ryan. Big up everyone that was there with us. Byron, Vice President of Fox 5 Sports. Dan, presenter. Rosanna Scotto, presenter as well. When that all comes out, I'll let you know where it is anyway, because it's due to come out soon. I just messaged Byron now, and he said he's going to let me know when the segments are ready and the clips are ready and all of that. So I'll make sure people know when that's out. I'll make sure it's promoted on the socials. We will make sure it's promoted on the socials. But yeah, let's go back into it. Notorious says, Turkish, what do you think of Güler? I like him. Still very young, still very raw physically. I think technically he's not raw. Technically he's mature beyond his age. And that's what kind of sets him apart. And that's where a lot of the noise is coming from, because his technical ability on the ball is quality. But his physical presence, especially for the Premier League, it's not even like I'm not too sure he's ready yet. He's definitely not ready yet. And these moments are key in a player's development, where they choose to play and amount of minutes they get, what type of league it is. Because, Emre Moore, I was just trying to think of an example previously, because there is a lot of examples, but I'll use one close to home. Emre Moore was pretty much talked about in the same manner, if not a greater manner, early on in his career. And he didn't necessarily make the right moves. Then again, he was at Dortmund, and that should be a good move. It didn't turn out to be a good move for him. And, now he hasn't fulfilled his potential. So with Güler, I think good potential, needs a couple more years to bulk up and hopefully become that physical presence that can play in a league like the Premier League. If not, he can still make a success of his career. It's not just the Premier League that's the only league in Europe. There's other leagues he can excel at. There's other leagues you can excel at. Big up Big Steve. Good signing, Rice. You needed him. Not sure on Kai, but we will see, mate. Big Steve, I'm not sure on Kai either, man. I'm not sure on Kai either, but we'll see. We'll see. We will see. A fair few super chats have come in as well. So let me just quickly scroll through the super chats. Bazza says, who sponsored the New York trip, bro? We did. I mean, through the Manscaped sponsorship, I parked off chunks of it and made it work. We did it. They got Fox News for the feature, but we did that off our own backs, off our own work so far, and that's the plan. I mean, whether it's super chats, whether it's ad revenue, whether it's sponsorship, Big Six is still at a very early stage in its, I don't know, in its career, I guess. So it's about reinvesting. It's about reinvesting and giving people more of what they've invested in, whether it be through watching, whether it be through donations and super chats, whether it be through, getting something off Manscaped. Because best believe getting, if you want something, the beard products are coming out on Manscaped soon. I'm due to, get a package real soon and do a bit of promo on that. But it's not only beard products; they have a whole heap of male grooming products. If you ever needed something, best believe if you go there and use the TB620 20% discount code, it helps. It helps because it helps maintain that and it helps us reinvest back into the brand and what it is. And yeah, because don't forget, obviously, the Big Six is our thing. As much as I started, it's our thing, and we're trying to just keep up with what the people want because it's grown so much in 2 years. Still very early. Orange says, is it wrong that Rice doesn't excite me like that? It's not wrong. I get what you're saying about that, and I will get into it after these super chats. But I understand what you're saying. Usman says, been a minute, my G. Hope you've been well. I'm curious, what's your thoughts on Kroenke now? Do you still want new owners? You did Havertz dirty on the thumbnail, by the way. Let me see. I can't wait to find the thumbnail. Fuck it, man. Who gives a shit? My thoughts on the Kroenkes now. Obviously, that's going to be. I've had that question from Robbie today. I've had that question from a couple others in WhatsApp groups, and now I've got the question here in the first, 10 minutes or first 5 minutes of the show. Listen, this is what I want. So if you're asking me right this minute, it's not even right this minute. You haven't really been hearing me say Kroenke out much over the last 12, 18 months because I've been telling you I've been liking what I'm seeing. But until we get back into the Champions League, we won't know if they really have changed or will they just take a step back, get that Champions League money and think to themselves, this is nice, this is cushy. That was big. That was a big key. So for us to go and smash our transfer record on Declan Rice, flex, like I mentioned before, essentially putting 15 million above what Manchester City bidded is a flex. Even though I agree Man City got valuations and they don't go above those valuations. I wouldn't say we bullied Man City. I'd just say we flexed and, we put what we need to on top. Flexing is not the be all and end all. Chelsea flex all the time and they flexed their way to 12th last season. So flexing is not necessarily the key to success, but the biggest and greatest teams have flexed, every single one of them, whether it be Manchester City, United, whether it be Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, Barcelona, and so on over the, over my lifetime of football. Kroenkes need to continue doing what they're doing. At the moment, I've been happy with the way things have been going the last 18 months, and I'm happy at this moment in time with the investment in the transfer window. Havertz for me is a weird one, and again, we're going to get into that shortly. But Declan Rice is a statement signing. I'll lean back on what the last super chat was asking about, or whether not being too excited is mad. No, because I like Declan Rice. I think he does elevate us. I don't think he's worth 100 mil, but I don't think many players are worth what teams actually pay for them. I think the majority of players that do go for high fees are very rarely worth what the actual fee was that was paid for them. So that isn't me knocking it. It is a statement signing. It is a statement signing, and we've got to continue doing that. Much has been made of Arsenal getting plan Bs and the plan Bs have taken us so far. I'm not saying we're a team full of plan Bs, because we're not, but in the transfer window, this is the biggest move we've ever made. And I just don't mean that just financially. Yes, financially, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. But how many times have we seen Arsenal lose out to other teams on players they've wanted? Not just the maybe Man Uniteds and Chelsea's or Man Cities and so on. I remember we've lost that to Louis Gustavo to Wolfsburg one year. Jan and Villa, I don't remember where he went, but there were so many players over the years that we lost to just Bob standard teams, let alone the biggest and best teams at that moment. That this is something that indicates a big change, a big change. Like I said, I wouldn't have been surprised with a 95 million bid, and I wouldn't have been surprised with Arsenal have called interest in Rice. Those would have been a hell of a lot less surprising than me seeing 105 million bid from Arsenal. 105 million bid from Arsenal. So the excitement about Rice, I'm excited. I am excited because it's a big signing, and he's heading into his prime, and I do like him. He is a good player. He needs to step up now. He's at a team that will hopefully continue challenging for Premier Leagues and then go on to challenge for Champions Leagues and so on. But the Kroenkes need to continue doing what they're doing at the moment. They pay that Jokic Denver Nuggets the highest NBA contract of all time, and I know did he come in through a draft? Essentially fell on their lap, but it's still an investment. It's still an investment. Listen, I try and keep it real. Yeah. And the next thing I'm going to say, people might be like, is this guy mad? But I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. I've been saying it for the last few years in terms of raising the standards in some Arsenal fans, because I'm tired of hearing we can't get that player. I'm tired of hearing, no, we ain't got enough money for that. If this signing doesn't indicate that pretty much we can get any player we want, and I'm not saying that because of Rice, but I'm saying because of the money. I want Arsenal potentially, if Mbappe does run down his contract, I want Arsenal to have a go. I want Arsenal to have a go. Don't get me wrong, I think Real Madrid is his destiny, but at the same time, Vinicius is there. I think they'll have plans for Haaland eventually, which fills in their striker position. I'm not too sure. And they weren't too happy about the way Mbappe re-signed that new contract extension. Was it last year or the year before when they were due to get him? I feel like they weren't happy about that. I want Arsenal to go out and try. Go out and try. We've got the money. Finally, we're showing we've got the money. I don't want to hear any fan disregard any signing anymore, because we can do it. It's whether we want to do it that has always been the key. So let's do it. But yeah, in terms of answering the question in a shorter manner, Usman, my thoughts are still, Kroenkes are on watch, but they've done some positive things in the last 2 years. And it's probably the only positive things they've done in their entire ownership at the club. So long may it continue. I think we should be keeping at least one of Xhaka or Partey for one season, irrespective of the expected incoming of Lavia and Timber. Come on, you Gunners. That one's from Laka, the local man. Yeah, I mean, on top of what I was mentioning before about the excitement and that last super chat, part of the excitement being dampened a little bit is because when we were talking, and by we, I mean us, the community on my channel, Arsenal supporting friends, WhatsApp groups, and so on, it was always Rice and Caicedo on top of the midfield unit we already had in place. Heading towards the end of the season, remember, we were all talking about Rice and Caicedo on top of what we have. So Xhaka falls to the bench and rotation and gets his minutes like that. And Partey, keeps his spot, but that he has an understudy coming through, ready to take if he slips up or gets injured. So now after hearing Xhaka essentially wants to go, and the Bayer Leverkusen deal is pretty much, ready to go. Just depends on Arsenal sorting themselves out. I think I could see it. I still wanted maybe a Gundogan or a Tielemans on a free to kind of add some more depth into that 8 position. But cool, Rice, Caicedo, Xhaka leaves. We can fuck with that. But then Partey news comes out, and I'm just like, well, hold on, because Caicedo interest is cooled. Xhaka and Partey are now seemingly headed towards the exit. Two of the three midfielders that were part of our charge for the title throughout last season. I don't think that's wise, if I'm honest. I don't think that's wise. And this is coming from someone who's wanted Xhaka gone every summer, bar this one, for the entirety of his Arsenal career. But this one just feels like we're leaving ourselves short again. You mentioned Lavia, Laka. I'm not too sure we'll get Lavia. I mean, maybe we will. Hopefully, we will. If Partey and Xhaka are to go, I'd still want Caicedo, but I guess let's not push it. You know, it seemed that we're going, you know, comfortably over the 200 million spend mark. I said 250, 300 mil. I'm still saying that. But yeah, Partey and Xhaka both potentially leaving just doesn't fill me with the confidence that I think we need to maintain another title charge and potentially get over the line next season. Timber looks a good option. Haven't seen much of him. Remember, he was linked to, was it United last? Yeah, United, because Ten Hag come. Yeah, so he was linked to United. Looked at a bit of him. Then looks good. You know, looks good. Obviously, since we've been linked for the last month or couple of weeks, I've looked at him a bit more. Seems like a quality addition. Definitely an upgrade on Rob Holding, or an upgrade on the situation we have at present. Whether he's coming in to play a right back, inverted right back, whether he's coming in to back up and rotate with Saliba, I'm not too sure yet, because I know Ben White's limitations at right back, but if we're looking at right backs of the season, last season, he's up there. Without a doubt, he's up there. So I don't think it's cut and dry that Timber comes in and goes straight into right back and Ben White backs up Saliba. I think we'll have to wait and see. It's hard to really predict. But good signing. Eden says, can't wait for next season. Bayram Kutlosun, my bro. And yeah, I can't wait for the season as well. I can't wait for preseason. Obviously, I'm flying out to the US again, this time with AFTV in a few weeks. Washington, New Jersey, then LA. It's gonna be mad. TBG says, big up Turkish. Good to see you back. Been supporting Arsenal for 3 decades and never would have thought this day would come. Havertz unsure but prepared to give him a chance. Finally shopping in Harrods. Hashtag come on you Gunners, my bro. Exactly that. We'll move in different. And now we've made this move. And by this move, I mean breaking our transfer record, breaking the British player transfer record and all of that. Now we've made this move. It's I can now look back and say the changes have been coming up. You know, I've always said let's wait till we get back into Champions League to see if these owners are fully changed. But they've been making good decisions over the last 2 years, like I previously mentioned. You know, staying with Mikel Arteta when all the pressure was on him. A pressure from us, not necessarily myself as well, but a lot of doubts from myself. Turns out to be the right move. Then they invest. I mean, you know, spending 120 to 180 million per summer transfer window when you're in the Europa League and 1 year not even in Europe at all. I guess that's the most you can kind of ask for, especially if they're not manipulating the market like some clubs do with their finances and so on. I'm not getting onto these clubs. If you get away with it, you get away with it. But I just look at it, if you're getting away with it, I want my club to get away with something as well, because we can't have other teams spending 600-700 million in 1 year, and when it comes to us, it's we have to be careful for FFP. Less of that. Let's do what these men are doing, because they're taking the piss and no one's holding them to account. I'll be very surprised if these 115 charges at Man City turn out to be anything, if I'm honest. Chelsea, over the years, spent a hell of a lot of money. At the end of the day, football is money. So I don't really, if an owner comes in and manipulates the market somehow and finds a loophole, that's what they've done. I'd like my owner to find loopholes here and there. I really wouldn't mind. But yeah, back to the super chat. TBG says 3 decades, never would have thought this day would come, and yet we are here. And I'm completely with you on Havertz as well. Unsure, but you know, the Declan Rice signing and the aura around the way we've done that kind of, you know, makes me calmer on the Havertz signing. Makes me think, all right, let's just see what Arteta wants to cook. Zion says this transfer seems more like Virgil van Dijk going to Liverpool, not City. Mikel Arteta has equal pull as Pep and Klopp with financial backing from the owners. Question mark thoughts. If you're asking me, has Mikel got equal pull as Pep and Klopp with financial backing from their owners? Now we've got to separate Pep and Klopp, number one, because Pep's a completely different animal, completely different beast, and Mikel Arteta doesn't have the pull that Pep has. That's not me knocking Mikel. Pep is just an all-time great, potentially the greatest, if not the greatest for a lot of fans already across football, not just Manchester City. So Pep alone has more pull, and then Manchester City have more pull. They still do because they have a guarantee of trophies. They might not be able to guarantee playing time as much as Arsenal can guarantee playing time, but best believe if they're even spending 90, 100 mil on a player, I've got Grealish and Declan Rice bid there in my mind. They're looking to have this player come in and play a big part. So even the playing time thing, I think when Manchester City want a player and they want to spend that big on a player, then the playing time will be there for them. Whether that comes in the first year or not, Pep likes to be easy with his incomings, big signing or not. They tend to always, turn up in the second season and so on. So the pull with Pep, no. But I've been mentioning it quite a bit today in personal conversations. I think I mentioned it on the transfer show with Robbie as well. If you're looking at the Premier League clubs and you're looking at attractive propositions, Manchester City are clear as an attractive proposition, but both on the pitch with the football played and the trophies won, off the pitch with the wages that they can offer and the fees that they can pay, and by the pitch with Pep Guardiola, his knowledge, his history, his heritage in the game. In terms of attractive proposition, Manchester City are clear. That's not to say you can't get a player that they potentially want at the same time. That's not to say that 100%, because Manchester City, they've spent a lot of money, but they've spent it wisely. They've spent it wisely. That's why I always mention they very rarely break their value on a player. I think Grealish is probably the only one they did that for. Every other player they bought, I think when you look at the value and then the output and productivity, exceeded the vast majority of the players they've paid, whether it's 30, 40, 50 million for, they've exceeded their price tag. So Man City are good at that. But behind Man City, in my opinion, it's Arsenal. You don't get me wrong. Liverpool are still an attractive proposition. I'm not completely writing them off because of last season. Klopp is still a very attractive manager to play for. He's been there. He's done that. He's won major runners, and players will always want to play for Klopp. And Liverpool have the history and the heritage, and even during their peak years where they weren't competing, they were still managing to get top young talent and top talent into the club here and there. That's the name. That's football heritage. But I just think players looking now at Arsenal, young group, just challenged for the title, young manager, probably probably the best or most intriguing young manager out there in football at the moment. I think players would want to come. And it seems that we've got the money now, or it seems that we're ready to use the money that we've always had, we've always been making on players and on the right areas of the club behind the scenes to make it all work. So I think Man City, then Arsenal, then Liverpool. But then don't get me wrong, after Man City, it does come down to a lot what the player wants. Because if the player is really after money, then you probably look at Chelsea and United, who could pit both Liverpool and Arsenal to the post in terms of a of a signing of a player there. But I'm talking about the balance. I'm talking about the opportunity to win stuff mixed with, I guess, your own development and where you can kind of fit in, and wages. And the balance at Man City is probably is by far the greatest. Then I think it's Arsenal and Liverpool. Not much to choose between them because Liverpool can offer more a guarantee of winning the majors, even though last year happened. Liverpool have a great manager and have had a great side that have had to keep up with the Manchester City team that we couldn't keep up with last season, and we saw how difficult that was after one of our greatest Premier League seasons, ending second to Manchester City. It's mad, but yeah, that's my take on the pool. I honestly think Kai is going to cook differently. Hopefully, it's got a intriguing aura about it. The Kai signing, it's got an intriguing aura. That's why I can't write it off. Like I said, I can't. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm ready to see what it's all about, though. Gonna be some uncomfortable conversations if you don't win the league now. JMO, I agree. I've always wanted this club to put us in a position where heading into the league season, not winning the league would be a disappointment. Heading into the season where, when asked, what do you think Arsenal are going to do this season? Challenging for the title is the answer. We haven't been able to do that since moving into, okay, maybe the first couple of years of moving into the Emirates, there was still some gas in the tank and some chest shown, but it's been a hell of a long time since Arsenal fans, I'll speak for myself, has gone into a season and said, we're going to challenge for the league, because I really believe we're going to challenge for the league. So, when you're doing what we're doing now, and that's breaking a record transfer fee, not just Arsenal, a British player too, coming close to is it close to the biggest transfer fee in the Premier League? Not just British. Enzo was a couple mil more, right? Wasn't Enzo like 106.7 or something like that? That's just off the top of my head. So close to the record, full stop. When you look at that list of most expensive signings of all time, and you see like four Man United, four Chelsea, maybe 1-2 City, maybe Liverpool, you see them dotted about. Arsenal are now in that list. We're coming from second into Champions League football with a young team, all contracts signed, 100 million signing under our belts, along with a few other players. I say few, Havertz, Timber, and I'm hoping a couple more. Player sales too. I'm hoping a couple more after after Timber comes in with Rice. Havertz already been announced. So yeah, winning the league and challenging for the league and Champions League and so on, that is the benchmark, without a doubt. I'm not someone to hide from that. People were saying Rice to Chelsea, 100 million 4 years ago. I remember Rice was heavily linked to Chelsea a few times. Oren said, not going to lie, talking about Mbappe gave me goosebumps. I get it, though. I get it. I understand why people don't think that could be a reality, or haven't thought that could be a reality. Apologies to the people in the live chat as well, because I'm in the super chat section as well, and I've spent a bit of time here, so I'm just gonna go through what's left, and I've just got we've passed the half an hour mark. I do waffle on sometimes, but you do ask me to do more solos, so it's on you as well. Simon says Stan and Josh are all in on Arteta, which is great for everyone. Yeah, seems so. I hope they're all in on winning and competing. That's what they need to be all in on. Yes, backing the manager is part of that 100%. But in general, you keep that mentality of wanting to win, being hungry to win, and continually developing and building and chopping and changing and doing. And I don't mean managers there. I mean in terms of playing staff. Like look at Guardiola. When you're winning major honors, he said it's hard to keep players motivated. So you have to refresh, even if it's big players going. The next big player will step up. So yeah, it is great for everyone. If Timber signs, we have taken two of Bayern's targets. Brian, again, I talked about earlier. Declan Rice, City coming with a bid. Arsenal flex, seemingly getting the deal done. Havertz, Real Madrid interested. Bayern Munich interested. Arsenal get the deal done. Timber, Not too sure how close it is. Yeah, it does seem close. Bayern interested. Arsenal getting the deal done. So that's also refreshing to see. It's about time. It's about time that we can be linked to a player and not be completely shattered at the thought of another big club entering the conversation, because all that meant previously to this season and maybe last summer too is Arsenal are going to pull out cool interest and go for Tom, Dick, or Harry at whatever club. It happened too many times. Ibi says, I can't wait for pre-season to see how it all looks. Backing our manager to the fullest is all we've wanted. 2 weeks since the window began. Great start, 100%. And that is also refreshing. If you've been a watcher of my stuff over the years, I've always said you need to be, as much as I've talked about spending more money, I have. That's not the only thing I've talked about. I've talked about proactivity as well. I've talked about going into the market, knowing what you want, getting what you want, and being ready for the season. That's such a key part of it. So I'm glad Mikel's come in, essentially said and done the same things. Last summer, signings under our belt, nice and early, and then we do what we need to do throughout. This summer, it seems like what Havertz is in, Rice should be in the next week or so. I say week or so. I know people might think days, but I don't trust this Arsenal at doing things quickly. For fuck's sake, Havertz stuff leaked before the club could announce it. I don't know what's going on there. Pictures leaked and a video leaked, an interview leaked. I'm just looking at it. This is all a big mess. Then it gets announced by Arsenal. I was thinking surely they got to change up the video. They didn't. It is what it is. We knew he was coming. He's been announced. Rice next, and maybe Timber before the preseason tour. Three solid additions. Go and get some money for the players that we want to sell. We can sell. Holding. Eddie. I guess Balogun if Arteta doesn't see a role for him. To sort the Xhaka one out, that's just been, that's been going for like a month now? No, probably 6 weeks, because it was talked about 2 weeks before the season even finished. So sort that out. Partey, sort that out. Let's see what. To be honest, with Partey, I've heard reliably that it's more him seeking the move than Arsenal wanting him gone. That's what I've heard. And there's no reason to lie about it there, and it might make sense. A lot of off the field issues and problems for him throughout last season, so I can understand it. But Arsenal just let's sort it out, because like I said, after Havertz, Rice, and Timber, I'd still want 2 more signings. I'm not trying to be greedy here, but Havertz, Rice, 170 mil, Timber, let's say 40, 45, let's say 40 mil, 210 mil. Try and get 60 mil from player sales. I don't care if you have to who you have to sell. Try and get 60 mil. Let me just go low and say 30 mil. That brings down the net spend to 180. Then, in my opinion, there should still be 70 to 120 mil to spend on 2 more players. Let's see. Kroenke's been moving different since they owned 100% of the club in 2018. They have some concerns since they've fully owned the club. Let's not forget about Super League, and let's not forget about Emery and Raul and Sven Mislintat. They've post Wenger, they've had to clean things up, clean their own mess up. But yeah, I mean, since they've taken full ownership, definitely the spending side of Arsenal has improved. That's for sure. Whatever your opinion on Arteta, it's undeniable the culture has changed and our appeal is way higher. Going from signing only check in summer of 15 to breaking the British transfer record, I am buzzing. That's from Hybrid Ultra. It is undeniable. I always go back to that Cesc Fabregas interview earlier this year when he said he walked into the training ground at Arsenal and he was amazed at how different it was. Bear in mind, what was it? 13, 14 years since Fabregas was at Arsenal. He said a lot changed. He talked to the people. They said, Mikel Arteta changed a hell of a lot when coming in. Compare that to Ronaldo talking about United and saying nothing changed since he left the club. So Mikel Arteta has, there's signs there that he's changed a hell of a lot inside out at Arsenal, and we've come a long way from the day he was brought in to where we are now. We've definitely come a long way. People can argue it's taken a long time, and people can say eighth, fifth, and everything like that. But that time is now gone. I'm not going to get that time back. You're not going to get that time back. What can we do? All we can talk about is the then and now. And then we was fucked. Now we're looking very good. So at this moment in time, you know, let Arteta cook, let Arteta flex. Let's see what he has in store for us next season. And it is a big season. Pressure has been ramped up all round. Would you swap Balogun for Tony, knowing Tony would be better? 100%. You know, I keep on saying I wouldn't go and buy Tony right now because of the ban, unless it's a very, very good fee. But if they'd swap Balogun for Tony, because I don't even see Balogun or Eddie getting many minutes next season, if I'm honest with you. Regardless of which one of them stays, I don't think both are staying, but whichever one of them stays, I don't see them getting many minutes. So swap for Tony, I definitely do that. I definitely do that. Ash says, our squad is as strong as it's been since Highbury. All young, top talents will have us challenging at the top for years. Securing Rice is symbolic. Can be, 100%. And again, on the transfer show, Robbie, I mentioned the next 2 years are so crucial. When you talk about the contracts that Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, and these men have signed, 4 years, right? I think there's an option for a fifth in the Saliba one, about 4 years. So in 2 years, when those talks need to come up again, we need to have been doing something, cooking in the next 2 years. So Saka and Martinelli are looking back at the last 2 years saying, yeah, this is where we want to be because we can win the top honours here, we can compete, and I love this place because that's what they're going to want to be part of. You know, great young players. They're going to want to turn into great players. Full stop. And part of becoming great players is helping your side win stuff, being part of a winning mentality, a winning culture, and looking back at a career full of glory. Not the only way, but it tends to be the main way. Great players become great players and are the difference makers. So. Contracts, 2 years, important. Mikel Arteta, he's got 2 years on his contract. Very important. He's happy with what happens this summer, which I think he should be. I think Havertz is on him. The way that one was done quite swiftly and under the radar initially, it just makes me think he's someone that we must have wanted, identified. And when you look at the price tag, that has to get co-signed by Mikel. I don't see anyone else at the club trying to buy Mikel players. He actually feels like the boss, if I'm honest. All round. Arteta's pushing these owners. Wenger stopped 100%. 100%. I don't see a bowl of rice next to you, Turkish. Yeah, I see everyone pulling out rice and bowls of rice and this and that. You let him sign for the club. Simon says Tchouaméni is being a possibility now. Maybe he's on the list of party. I don't see it. I think he's definitely at Real next year. He's definitely at Real. Unless you've heard something I haven't. I wouldn't listen. I'll take him. That's for sure. If it was an option. Ricky said the price tag is going to put pressure on Rice and Havertz. We need a striker critically. Tony, if we can get rid of Tavares, Pepe, Nketiah, and Balogun, yes, again, I'll take Tony, but I want a striker that's ready to go from the get go. I really do. Mislintat is the Ajax director of football. I know. HKN, my guy, man. I don't see you in the big six comments much anymore, man. I don't know what's happened to you, my bro. Hope you're good. He said, y'all got ripped off. Should have bought Caicedo for 70. 170 on Rice and Havertz is not good business. It's hard to say, my bro. It's hard to say, my bro. At the end of the day, you should know as a Man United fan, you can't really judge it until they step in. 90 million on Pogba at the time. I know you was gassed about it, but you look back at Pogba at United and he never lived up to that 90 million. That's just one example. 80 million Maguire. I know a lot of United fans were gassed about that. You tell me, was he worth the 80 mil? So yeah, that's examples of price tags putting pressure on a player and them not living up to expectations. So we know the risks already. But the thing with where we're at right now is there's a plan. It's obvious there's a plan. Whether that plan equates to anything next season, whether it equates to a Premier League trophy or a Champions League and so on, who knows? But there is a plan. So I'm not going to dismiss Rice for 105 million or why we're signing Havertz. Because I've asked, I need to learn off my own, I wouldn't call them mistakes, but maybe I need to learn off my own examples of jumping the gun with a Ramsdale, with a Ben White when they were signed. I said, what are we doing spending this much money on these men? Do we wanna move forward or not? And then we move forward. I didn't expect that. And HK and I 100% know when we signed Ramsdale for 30 mil and Ben White for 50 mil, 110% you was getting onto some Arsenal fan about that. 100%. Because you're mentioning Rice and Havertz now, so you must have mentioned Ramsdale and Ben White. But 2 years after signing them, we were the closest to City. We challenged. Who would have guessed that? Not me, not you. So with Rice or Havertz, I can't guess. All I can do is see. Real Bull Talk said, big up my G Turkish, keep shining, brother. Hashtag MY, my guy. Hope you're good, man. Hope you're good. It's been a little while we haven't talked, man. We've got to chop it up. Maybe do a video this summer, man. I'll jump on your channel again. I'll definitely do something. I'm going, the US on the 17th of July? So I'm away for about 10 nights then. But maybe before or just after, before the season starts, we'll do something. Ollie Watkins as Eddie and Balogun replacement. Ollie Watkins, he's all right. I mean, he's definitely an improvement on Eddie, that's for sure. I can't say for sure whether Balogun, maybe immediately, yes. Long term, not too sure because I don't know the level of striker Balogun's going to be. But would I take it? I mean, if you ask me, out of the three who I'd take right now, it would be Watkins because right now is what Arsenal need to be focusing. Now we've got enough young talent that's been developing and continue to develop. Right now is what we need, and Ollie Watkins is more a right now striker. So yeah, and different enough to be a plan B in games. HKN says when Qatar take over, we will get Enrique, Mbappe, Valverde, and whoever else wants to join the winning team. My bro, I've got a lot of friends that support United. So when you say when Qatar take over, we'll get this person, that person, this person. That's what you lot have been doing, my bro. That's what you man have been doing. Since Ferguson's gone, we've seen Falcao. Falcao was one of the best strikers in Europe at that point, if not the best. He was up there. Pogba, Di Maria, Sanchez. Might as well throw Harry Maguire in there as well, not necessarily because of talent, but because of price tag. Then Jadon Sancho. He's from Manchester. He's ready. He's lighting up the Bundesliga. Anthony. And maybe it's not fair with Anthony, still early days, 1 year in, but the way us man were getting peppered for Pepe, I ain't hearing anything from anyone. We was getting peppered for Pepe in the first 6 months of him being at Arsenal. And when you compare his first 6 months, his first season, and his first couple seasons to a Jadon Sancho or to an Anthony or to whoever, he done better than them. I'm not saying I'm happy with it, but what I'm saying is people need to look closer to home. Man United been spending top money for years. Ain't nothing new. Spending money hasn't been Man United's problem. It's been the lack of a plan. And when we talk about managers, there's no one close to Pep than Klopp. And in terms of young managers, Arteta looks like the one at the moment in terms of young managers. So it's not that easy to find someone that's got a plan that's going to work. That's going to take risks as well. You might find someone who's got a plan, who, could be going somewhere, but that plan only takes the project so far or the team so far. HK, and again, let me get this one in. The issue with the Glazers is they spend the first summer, then stop spending and make managers use old players, so it never works. Qatar going to rip up Maguire and the rest of these contracts. The problem with don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Glazers are great owners. The problem with the Glazers is they didn't care about the people they've left in charge at the club. That's what it was. Very similar to problems to Kroenke's with Wenger and just leaving him in charge of everything and not really, pushing and pulling and doing the necessary to kind of, challenge. Because I believe David Dean used to challenge Wenger a lot, and that was a great dynamic to have when you want to improve, when you want to develop, when you want to buy players. I think Glazer's issue is putting the wrong people in charge. But don't listen. Man United fans used to love Woodward at a point. Yeah, I know saying it now is crazy, but there was a point. United fans loved Woodward. They loved him because he was bringing in all these big players. You can look back now and it didn't work and it was pain, and I get that. But, I think that was a problem, leaving people like that in charge and just letting it rot. What else do you say? Qatar going to rip up. He can rip up the contracts. Obviously, Maguire's not good enough to be playing for Man United, but who's the manager with the plan? Is it Ten Hag? That's a risk in itself. Every manager will be a risk. But yeah, it's not just spending money that's been Man United's problem. It's how, it's who, it's where it's going. But yeah, Turkish Magic, real talk, fully sold on Rice. Not fully sold, my bro. I like him. He improves our midfield. Fully sold, no. But I'm more gassed by the statement we're making by getting this signing. 100%. Don't get me wrong. HKN's right. The price tag is going to apply a lot of pressure, and the likelihood. My bro, you watch Big Six. HK and you watch Big Six. You probably watch it enough for you to remember me always saying Jack Grealish will never be worth £100 million. Never, ever will Jack Grealish on the pitch be worth £100 million. But no one gives a shit about his price tag anymore because they've won what they've won at the club. Same with Declan Rice. I don't think Declan Rice will ever be £100 million player. I don't think he'll ever be worth £100 million on the pitch. But that's not to say he can't be integral to success. He can't be a big part of great things to come for the club. So I know how to separate out the two. I don't necessarily apply pressure just from price tag alone. Obviously, being the record signing and whatnot, I'm expecting him to kick on and take the step up, because this is what it is, a step up. But you've also got to separate it out, and especially in modern day football, look at the wider perspective, the wider picture, because it's not just one man that gets the job done anymore. It's a team thing, and inflation is real, by the way. I just see that comment coming. English tax is crazy. Where are we? Oh shit, two more have come in. No, one more's coming. That was real ball talk. And William, hope you're good, my guy. Turkish, big up to you, man. I'll be honest, I can't co-sign that fee for a bowl of steamed rice. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's modern football. That's what it is, William. That's what it is. Every club's overspent on a player. Every club. I mean, we've done it with Pepe. And we'll have to do it again if we want to continue competing and we want to start winning the majors. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to overspend because that's the market. You have to be shrewd with the majority of your signings, 100%. But there's always 2 or 3 that you're going to need to overspend on if you really want to take that next step and take that leap or make that change that is required to get things over the line. Nick says Harlem crib was sick. Don Robbie B, where? That crib was mad. It was mad. I miss New York. I can't even lie to you. I've just got 2.2k in the building. Can we get to 1,000 likes, people? How many likes we on? Let me just quickly check, because there's 2.2k here. 700 likes. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. We can get to 1,000 now. Now that I've mentioned it, just scroll down, people, hit the like button. Turkish, explain why you, man, so obsessed with us. I'm going to guess you're a Man United fan, cool. A Man United fan, HK, and a big supporter of the Big Six, my channel, Saeed's channel, and so on. And he's doing things in his own life as well. Big up him. He super chatted me and he's a Man United fan. So that's the example I've given, a Man United example. And when we're talking about transfer fees and inflation, Man United will always be mentioned because Man United have set precedent in a lot of areas and a lot of transfer fees that have fucked shit up. Yes, Chelsea too, more recently, but Man United have been doing that as well. So if any fan base is to talk about transfer fees and all of this, it shouldn't be United and it shouldn't be Chelsea, because this is the reason we're paying over 100 million for Declan Rice. That's the reason City had to pay 100 million for Grealish. I'm not even blaming City for this, and they're the big boys in terms of spending. In terms of fucking the market up, Man United and Chelsea take a bow. Man spending 105 million on Rice, and it's not even Basmati. Big up NN. Let me get rid of these ones here quickly. I've got one more here. Just Waffling says City is the only club that can get reasonable price because teams know if they come asking, it will turn players' heads. Kovacic price is a steal, as good as Rice. Big statement by Gunners though. I like Kovacic. I think he's been overrated, but I like Kovacic. I think it is a good signing for City. But I think he has been quite overrated over the years. But listen, we've got one of the ones from Chelsea that I feel exactly the same about, Jorginho. But these men tend to have a cult following. If you didn't know he was an Arsenal fan, who was an Arsenal fan? I swear that guy I'm replying to is an Arsenal fan. See, this is what I'm saying. Jet lag. What did he say again, though? Didn't he say, "Why are you so obsessed with us? Am I not you?" So if us is Arsenal, I can't be you. So who was you? This reminds me of the Rush Hour 3 scene. If you know, you know. Anyway, fuck it. I still got onto Man United and Chelsea, so it was still worth the super chat. But apologies. Oh, there it is. There's that quote again. Bro, I'm an Arsenal fan. All I see is hella weirdos watching us. Bro, it is what it is. Obviously, this channel's got the big six on it, so we're gonna have opposition fans here, and they're not all weirdos. They're not all weirdos. A lot of them are weirdos. Don't get me wrong. You're right there, but we've got some good ones on the channel too. You know how to give banter and take it. I just started going in. I misread it. I misread it. Jet lag. It is what it is, man. We move. What can we do? We can do. Even Turkish has fallen into the delusion of Arsenal fans' take. We thought you was better than that Turkish. Explain further. First name, last name. Explain further. What do you mean? Because I see these messages sometimes, and I just think, what do you mean? Some people say, since you joined AFTV, you're not the same Turkish. Well, since I joined AFTV, Arsenal have actually competed for a title. Now, I only joined AFTV 2 years ago. And actually, since I joined AFTV, there was a Kroenke protest. I was there, front line. But we've come a long way in 2 years. So if you think I'm going to think the same and say the same watching what I'm watching now compared to what I was watching 3 years ago, you're mistaken, my friend. I haven't got an agenda. I haven't, got anything to gain from sticking by my guns on things if I see things changing just because I want to be right. I've got no interest in that. I've always said I hope I'm wrong about the way this club is moving. And the last 2 years, I have been wrong quite a bit. I've been right here and there, but I've been wrong quite a bit. And that's exactly what we want. So I don't know. I'd like you to explain that further, if you can. I said Kovacic was, yeah, but what's that got to do with? But I would have said Kovacic was overrated 3 years ago as well. Nothing's changed there. I've always thought Kovacic was overrated. Would you guys ever? Yeah, we would, 100%. Without a doubt. This is key. Dwayne says Turkish KSC actually doing mind control on the fan base because they forget Stan is a billionaire and we can't compete in the market for the best. 100%. Chris Hudson on the last supporters club we did, I think it was a week and a half ago now, just before we went to New York with Big Six. He said Arsenal fans have been programmed, and that's the right word to use. You speak to certain Arsenal fans, it's like, we can't get him. Stop being negative. Stop being unrealistic. And I'm just thinking, like, who am I talking to here? Do you know who we are? And that's not even me trying to say we're Man United or we're Real Madrid. We're Bayern. No, I'm not saying that. There's a certain level of realism to what I'm saying. But do you know who we are? And do you know why we moved into this stadium and what we were told to get to those club levels that I've just mentioned in terms of history, heritage, size, clout, all of that? Don't be programmed to think that we can't do a certain signing. We can do any signing. We can do any signing. Let me go back. Sorry. Just past the hour mark, people. Have we passed 1,000 likes though? Nah, 860. People, we've passed an hour. There's more than 2K. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Jason, Australia. That's a difficult one. I can't even promise I'll come Australia, That flight. I don't like planes. I'm not saying I'm one of those that's just shitting myself flying. No, I'm not. I fly. Like, I've just come back from Cyprus and New York, and I'm going to America against next month, taking internal flights. I'm going Barcelona the next month, so I fly because I need to fly and get out of this country sometimes. But Australia, you're basically living in the sky for a day. You're just living in the sky for a day. I'm not on that. I'm not on that. You're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and sleep on the plane. I want to, though. I want to. I wish there was a better way. But I can't live in the sky for 24 hours, 20 hours, whatever it is. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a myth. That's mad. Imagine just a whole day in the air. Crazy. If Rice performs, he could be worth 150 million in a year. He could be. But if he performs, I don't care what he's worth. He's our player. Arsenal potential talk for a 24-year-old ex-Chelsea player. Who's that? Havertz? Must be Havertz, isn't it? He's 24. I don't know what you're saying, though, Ian. Potential talk for a 24... What? I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not even going to try to understand. Maybe it's my jet lag. Maybe it's your line of questioning. Here we are. Arteta Baller said, those who didn't trust the process don't deserve to enjoy its fruits. Like thinking non-believers and believers in God both deserve to enjoy paradise. Why do people take it this deep? What kind of super chat is this, my bro? Oh, my sister. I don't know if you're a man or woman. I don't know what's going on. How can you compare someone not trusting the process to a non-believer and believers in God deserving to enjoy paradise? How did we get right here? I just had to check the chat to see if I'm going mad or no. The super chat is mad, isn't it? That is crazy. That is crazy. I don't get it either. It's like you can't have doubts. You can't have an opinion. Because I think a lot of people that did have doubts, I'll speak for myself about Mikel, it all come down to experience. It will come back down to, does he have the experience to take this utter mess and turn it around? Does he have the presence to challenge the owners and get what he wants in the market? And I think those two are key. And in the last 2 years, we've seen that, yes, he does have that presence. Yes, he has the know-how, not the experience, because he never had the experience coming into Arsenal because he never had the opportunity. But why would someone having doubts or even not trusting the process completely not be allowed to enjoy when the club is what comes first? Even if someone doesn't believe, surely as an Arsenal fan, as an Arsenal supporter, you want the best for the club. Whether you think like me or whether you think the opposite to me, the one thing we should all agree on is the best for the club. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Let's move on from this super chat, man. Some people just want a badge for supporting from the beginning. I don't get it. Turkish, big respect for the way that you don't have an inferiority complex about Arsenal. It's a massive club, but many fans pick and choose when to claim they're overachieving or don't have money. Yeah, I mean, now listen, now we're moving like this. Remember, was it the first super chat that come in tonight? I think the first super chat said, or one of the first super chats said, now we just winning leagues. Like that's the expectation. 100%. What we've done now in terms of this 105 million, get it over the line, 65 Havertz, 40 Timber, couple more, 250, 300 million net spend come the end of the window, which is what I expect off the back of this opening we're having. What we're doing has raised the bar even more. Arteta raised the bar last season, raised the bar high, standards up there. Now the behind the scene, the Kroenkes, Edu, Garlic, all of these people, they've raised the bar with this Rice signing. Because as good as last season was, there was always question marks about can Arsenal get the biggest deals done, and they only get the free transfers or the release clauses or the players nobody else wants. So that narrative had to change because Arteta's been changing the narrative on the pitch and culturally football-based narrative. This signing now changes the narrative off the pitch. We can sign a player, 100 million or not. We can pay wages, 200, 300K. We knew that from the Ozil days, 350K. We can pay big wages. Now we've indicated we can pay big fees. This means there's no more Arsenal, wasn't expected to challenge for the title. So finishing second is a good season. There's no more of that now. Second is not a good season. You might have enjoyed the season because I did enjoy the majority of the season, but finishing second is not a good season. Winning stuff, that is a good season / great season, depending on what you win. And that's how we're moving off the pitch. That's what we got to do on the pitch. Another one here from Serial, let's say. I remember sending my last super chat 2 years ago stating it was last chance saloon for the owners. Never thought they would start moving in the right direction. Long way still to go, though. Yeah, very long way still to go. And you're right. I mean, a lot of people talk about since full ownership. I more look at since the Super League fallout. I think a lot more of the change coincides with the Super League fallout than it does the full ownership. Because from full ownership, the Super League stuff came not long after. So that was kind of the goal. That was the aim. Get more money through the Super League and then maybe invest and become a better club. But after the Super League fallout, I actually do think they paid, or Josh paid closer attention to soccer and what it's all about and identifying how to connect a bit better and understand it all, because that Super League fallout must have shocked them because it was massive, not just for Arsenal, for every club involved. And then I think that's when extra care and attention and due diligence were being paid to Arsenal moves, future planning, and all of that. But you are right. 2 years ago, that Super League, it was last chance saloon. Well, in my eyes, it was last chance saloon a little while before that. But I mean, generally, in terms of the fan base. Where are we? Rice coming only strengthens Arsenal if Partey stays. I agree with that. Partey is better than Rice. So if it's a like for like replacement, it's a step backwards. I agree with that. I think Partey is better than Rice. It's listen again. We was all talking about Rice being a number 8 for us. Now all of a sudden everyone's set on him being the 6, and I still don't know what's going on, because even with the Havertz one, I don't know what's going on. Everyone's assuming it's Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, midfield 3. Havertz will be molded into the 8. Rice will do the job in the 6. I don't know. I really don't know, because earlier on when the Havertz talks came up, it was mentioned that Arteta might see him across the forward line. That's not 8. That is up front, or maybe off the right, or maybe even 10. So it's hard to really assume what's going to happen or what we're going to see. Best in the world. I still want Caicedo. So do I, bro. So do I. Without a doubt, that would be a top signing for us, especially with Xhaka and Partey going. Especially because I think that upheaval is quite drastic. After nearly achieving what we done last season in terms of a Premier League title. But yeah, I mean, in terms of rounding up what we're talking about, Rice, we've talked about it, 105 million bid. Kroenke's, are they changing? We've mentioned all of that. Havertz, I'm going to do a welcome to Arsenal Havertz bid as well. Let me get a thumbnail made for that, because it is official now. I might as well just separate that out. Like I said, I want to get the content going a bit more consistently on my channel. And I know a lot of people want that too. So continue hitting the like button, continue supporting. Remember, there's a Big Six vlog out. It came out about an hour before I went live. It's vlog number 2, but video number 3 from New York. So if you're not subscribed to the Big Six channel, go over to the Big Six channel and subscribe. We're close to 30k over there. The aim next season is to get that channel to 100k. Move the show over there. And keep building, but we'll see. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Make sure you're subscribed over here as well, people. I'll continue doing solo vids as long as there's news to talk about. Next one will be the welcome to Arsenal, Kai Havertz. I might look at his numbers a bit more and try and make something out of that video, because at this moment in time, if I lock off this live now and then I go straight into the Kai Havertz video, all I'm going to say is I don't get it. Welcome, but I just don't get it. So maybe I need to try and find a way to get it and try and offer my opinion on what I find. But yeah, tomorrow, Big Six is back, 9 p.m. on this channel as well. So make sure you're subscribed here. Come show some love. We're going to talk about New York a bit. We're going to talk about the transfers a bit as well, because we haven't been live together for the last couple of weeks. So there's a lot of news. Rice coming to Arsenal after late City interest. Chelsea just signed someone, but they're always signing someone. United, City, Kovacic, Liverpool, I don't know who, Thuram, is that the next one on their list? Kevin says, Turkish, you're coming to NY again, right? Can I DM you? Yep, you can. I'm coming New York. When am I coming New York? Well, I'm coming New Jersey next month, but it's close enough to New York, so I'll probably be in New York. But next month, I think around the 20th or 21st of July. Road to 100k subs. Yeah, right here, road to 100k subs. That's why, make sure, people. I'm like 16k off 100k. Never thought it was possible. If you go to early videos, I was surprised to get to 1,000. I was surprised to get to 10,000. Mad surprised to get to 50,000. And now 16k away from 100k. Crazy. But love for the love always, people, man. The community we built is mad. Always enjoy doing solo lives. Only reason they've been limited over the last year or two is my son. So yeah, why did I delete the Big Six videos? What are you talking about? What Big Six videos did I delete? I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Let me see. Big Six videos are here. The ones on my channel are here. The ones on the Big Six channel are there. I don't know what you're talking about. But on that note, we're going to wrap it up, people. Hit the like button on the way out. Love for the love as always, people. Kai Havertz, welcome vid. Pre-recorded, maybe live. I'll see how I'm feeling over the next couple of days. Fuck it, man. Big Sixes tomorrow. Fuck. We don't need to welcome Kai Havertz, man. It's not that deep. Love for the love. Make sure you subscribe. Put a notification bell on, and I'll be back real soon, people. Peace. Big Six tomorrow, 9 p.m.